Hey, this is Alex Head, founder of Subtext Radio.
This is Subtext.
Please go ahead and click the like button and the subscribe button. It really helps us to reach new audiences and promote the artists that we work with. Hit like and hit subscribe.
Bonsoir à tous. Welcome everyone. My name is Anabelle Lacroix. Nous sommes ici à la Fondation Fimanco. Je vais parler en anglais principalement pour pouvoir communiquer avec tous nos auditeurs à l'international. Si vous avez des questions, n'hésitez pas. Hi everyone, I was speaking in French now to introduce us here at the Fondation Fimanco. We are live with Subtext and Threads Radio. I was saying that I will speak in English to be able to communicate with everyone here behind the radio and also at the residency, because the foundation where we are is has a big residency program, which is why we are here tonight. And I'm doing a one-year program together with many artists also who are here doing projects over the year. And I started in June with this freedom of sleep research that will conclude in an exhibition that will take place in May. And the aim of today was to explore the subject of nighttime and insomnia as a first meeting point and a place for gathering and for discovering some artists and talking a little bit about this project to launch this research together. And I have with me two guests, Stephanie Jamet and Arnaud Guerry, and we are here to talk about the relationship between art, sleep, and active listening. And this is because with this project I'm interested in exploring sound as a way of listening to the body and to the world, and to explore different ideas around the night and how we can bring a sort of new time for thinking and for exploring ourselves through our ears and through art. So I hope you're feeling comfortable. It's a little bit cold tonight. We're here outdoors, and just to describe a little bit for people who are listening, tonight we also have a series of installation on the occasion of White Night in Paris. We have an installation by Vivien Lejeune-Drouin at the front, and also two videos that are playing just here, Sonia Leber and David Chesworth, and also Salma Shidadi. So I invite you to see them as well if you haven't already. So now I will start this little discussion, and I was really excited to meet Stephanie recently, who's an art historian, a curator, and also a teacher. And Stephanie has written extensively about sleep and also explored relations of time in performance and throughout different aspects in art history. So I was really interested in having a conversation with you to bring a little bit of context on the project that I'm doing here, because it's not new, and many artists have been interested in both sleep and insomnia. And those two topics are sort of sister, brother, twins, opposites, and they go together. So maybe we'll start with a little question for you about your vision on how you see this topic being something that is an important lens within art.
Yeah, thank you, Anabelle. I hope I could speak as easy as you do, so perhaps it could be switched with English too, so excuse me, everybody, if there's any problem. Or perhaps I can also speak French sometimes, so it depends. So, yeah, I'm organizing things in my research about sleep and different kind of absence, spirit or soul when you have your body without any movement and you're out of mind. So, this is my topics, and so I'm doing about sleeping and also about syncope. It's in French it means faint. In English, sorry. So about the way I do my research, first of all, we were talking about one piece of art which could help to think about it. It was the Sleepers by Sophie Calle. So it was almost 27 sleepers sleeping in her bed. She was asking them to sleep during 1 week, 8 hours and day and night. So without stopping, it was something like occupy a bed during her bed during that time.
So the artist did a call out in the paper, and the artwork was to be experienced by people who were invited to come to sleep in her bed. And as part of this project, she was watching them sleep.
Yeah, it was like that. And in fact, it was not just women. It was like it is most of the time in art history, like sleeping beauties. So that's why I was doing work on and thinking about this piece of art, because in fact it was a way to change our mind, because most of the time when you are talking with someone about art history, and they all think about nude in the landscape, so and wonderful women sleeping. So it was important for us to, with my friend Véronique Dalbasso, who is a researcher in modern art, to switch the way of looking at art and sleeping, and thinking about it with also representation with men, and old men and young also, and not only women. So it's a way also to think about resistance.
Yeah, especially being back in France for me, and in Paris, going to the museums and seeing a lot of traditional paintings with women who are naked, asleep, and thinking about the gaze on those paintings, and how contemporary artists are trying to reverse this and also involve the viewer. So Sophie Calle, we thought it would be interesting to speak about today, because she brings the social and political aspect also of sleep.
Yeah, in fact, it was both. It was a woman looking at people sleeping, and it was also men sleeping. So it changed the way the gaze is organizing. It was also a moment where when she was doing that, it was the way she wanted to ask them what did they do when they are not sleeping. Also, sometimes it was social, but it was also something political, in fact, because and not a passive way of looking at the sleeper. Most of the time, when you are talking about sleeping, people say, "Oh, it's passive. You don't know. You lost time?" And so, for her, it was something like a reverse. It was you were working because we were sleeping for us, working, and so it was not passive. As now. With medical research, that sleeping is something vital, and you can't do anything in your day if you didn't have a rest or you didn't sleep as well.
Yeah, you wrote in your book. You explore a lot this idea that sleeping is actually a really key time. It's not lost time, but so you explore this idea of deproduction as being also a form of resistance, and that also links to this idea of the experience of time, or how we feel when we are falling asleep, and also when we wake up, and this sort of vertigo, these experience. That also relate to why I was interested in sound and performance. So I wanted to use this idea to also bring Arnaud in the conversation. Arnaud Guerry is an artist and a curator, doing many projects in Paris and around, doing the Somnifère Festival. And so I wanted to ask you to also perhaps talk a little bit about this idea around the experience of time, and how, for me, I'm using sleep and insomnia as an experience of this hypersensitive, almost distorted experience of time that can often be experienced through sound. Can you perhaps tell us more about your work and how you explore those ideas, especially around this notion of active listening?
Yeah. Hello. With Manon, we organize a festival. It's Les Sonifères, and we like to federate some urban peoples. It's in Paris, but it could be in another city, and it's during the day, and it's there is obscurity, and yes, we forget time, but time doesn't exist. I think, this listening, active listening, it's a modern word to describe just listening. It's very weird to say active listening. It's very capitalism expression, I think. But during this festival, people are looking together to listen together. It's very cool. You are looking quiet people, but listen at the same moment, same music, same sound. It's kind of a resistance to do that in a urban landscape storming.
It's also an invitation to slow down and be together in a space. Often you invite people to sit or to lie on the ground and experience music in some durational formats as well.
It's an experience of doing nothing apparently, and be very active. In fact, a real active thinking.
Bringing attention to the ears.
Yeah, to the
and
ears.
the sound.
It's Pauline Oliveros said the ears. You hear with your ears, you listen with your brain, and you feel with your body, and this active listening is quite. It's more listen, but it's a global experience. Very very grateful for your sick mind in these sick cities.
It's also interesting to think about it in relation to, as you said, there's many kinds of listening, and I'm thinking also of Gloria Anzaldúa, who talks about multi-level listening, which is something I'm interested in to think through insomnia, because she talks about this multi-level listening in the sense of listening to yourself and inside yourself. So listening is not only the sound, the environmental sounds, but also recentering the body in a sense through sound. And multi-level listening is bridging this reflection between your ears and your environment, but also yourself and your social context, being aware of the others, being aware of yourself, as well as your environments. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about what you will do for your set, because you are playing with Manon just afterwards, and you've been working quite a lot in the last few weeks to prepare for this performance. Also, in relation to this project, you were quite interested in responding and crafting an experience for us tonight.
Yeah, we read a lot of a quote of Brooks and quote of Pauline Oliveros, and we focus on research from Anne-Gaëlle Billot, who study the Zapara tribal people in Amazonia, and dreams are very central in all the social organization and or in the daily life, and there is good dreamers and bad dreamers, and the dream is not a pause en parenthèse. It's not a moment outside of your daily life, but central in your daily life. Very functional moment too. The dreams are relevant of the future, but of your past, and there is a preparation to dream, and there is a lot of discussions when you wake up with all the people of the tribe. So it's very inspiring as well. And in this, I can't say that our life is a reflection of their daily life, but it was an inspiration, and maybe we can tell that, say that our life is parts of some dreams. With the first part is not a dream. It's is a reflection about yourself and who you are at this moment, and who you can be, will be in later.
Yeah, it joins your work as well, Stephanie, because it's this idea that I'm also interested to explore throughout the project. It's the idea that, usually we see nighttime as a bit of a lost time, as well like sleep or when we're awake, but actually it's really crucial and important to explore, and can bring, as you said, in relation to how listening and paying attention to that in a slow way is a sort of break in the rhythm of day-to-day life, and maybe the speed of our capitalist society. You sort of mentioned that earlier, and how traditionally there is a very strong dichotomy between day and night, and so tonight, as well as throughout the project, I'm trying to bring attention to this time in a new way, and perhaps we can also bounce also with you, Stephanie. I know that you've also been quite inspired in Jonathan Crowley's book and writing, because he sort of brought to the fore the act of resistance against the 24/7 society, but you had also explored this idea of resistance through artist work in this context.
When I was finished the book, reading the book during the summer 2015, I read the news and I saw that there was this book just published. So I was really scared because I worked for 3 years about that project, and the title almost say what I was wondering to explain during in that book, Regard sur le sommeil. And when I read the book, I see that it was the same way of thinking, but not with the piece of art. So it was really different. In fact, we thought, I thought as a query that when you are sleeping, it's really a special time, because in fact, during the years in the art history, it was a metaphor of la création, creation,
of making, creating,
creation. So it was like when you are sleeping, it's when you are creating. So the resistance also in almost after the 19th century, it was also a way to act against the hyper-production, surproduction, and the sleeping was another way to produce without doing something. It was something like switching the conventional way of thinking.
It's flipping around the myth of the artist at work creating. Yeah. And you also talk about vulnerability in your work, the body of the person at rest, and also the relationship between work and laziness, and how these kind of artworks talk a lot about this idea of how we're breaking the rhythm and the cycle, and those conventions of producing. So you talk about deproduction.
Yeah, this word deproduction, it was a way to say not surproduction, not high production, or I don't know, in France we say surproduction, déproduction ou production. Ce sont des termes avec simplement un préfixe qui change. Et le dé était comme la décroissance. It was something like decrease. It's not because you don't create, you don't produce, but you produce differently. I think it's something very important now nowadays, as we can see. It was during the quarantine, and you say, what I'm doing, is it more and more and more? I think it's something about the deepness of the way of life. You don't stay in a surface. You have to go deep inside, and so when you are sleeping, it's something like that. And you don't have to act too much. It's the way. I think it's almost the same when you are saying that you are listening. Really take time. In fact, it was almost the same.
Yes, you mentioned the quarantine was the lockdown during the COVID period. You mentioned this time is actually really sort of awakening in the sense that suddenly by stopping everything that we were doing, we brought more attention to these rhythms and how time itself has such an impact on our lives, our schedules. And I think for me it was quite revealing and also really interesting to see, for example, the videos that I am showing here as part of the program. Sonia Leber and David Chesworth's work that is quite abstract in the sense that the narrative is created by the moving image itself, but also the sound plays a big part of it. But the rhythm within video plays a part in that reflection on how it has also a story and how it relates to our own rhythm of life and our way of living. And this is why it's an important artwork for me in that sense that this question of nighttime and sleep and production is actually centered around the question of time and our experience of time, which is explored in a different way in the video by Salma Shdadi. And she worked with some students in the school, and in the video we see the students taking ownership of the space, but also the video is shot just at dusk as the sun is setting down, and suddenly with the night another schedule, another habitation of the space is possible. A whole new way of living is shown on the video, and so it can be seen as something that is maybe quite separate to the topic of sleep and nighttime, but actually that's how I would like to express this connection and how it was important for me to explore this idea within contemporary art in a cross-disciplinary way, because time is a key aspect for in many ways in video, in sound, and in performance as well.
You are. I thought you can talk, but I can let you. In France, you say passer le relais. When I will answer this reflection about time, because when you are, we were with my friends working on that book, reading that book. It was about vacatio animae. It was. Vacatio Animae, a Marcel Fissin project. It's a philosopher, a Neoplatonician philosopher at the Renaissance. And it was 7 states. During this state, you are losing your mind, or your in fact, your body is without any movement, and your soul is out. And it was a loss of consciousness, and there were the sleep, and also the syncope, this out of time special way of being. In fact, it's physiological. You have a body without any movement, and in fact you don't remember anything, even when you are sleeping, or when you faint. But in fact, there's something very special because you don't have the sensation of the time. You can't imagine if it was 1 hour or all that night long. It's a very special moment, and this is this kind of moment I research in art. It's sometimes when Esther, the Jewish, was just fainting because she was in front of Ahasuerus, and it's political moment. It is important because it's a way of being differently, but it's also when you faint, when you are too scared, and perhaps the dilatation of the time is very different. And I work on a piece of art. It's a video of Douglas Gordon named 24-Hour Psycho. It was an expansion of the movie of Psycho from Hitchcock, and it was during 24 hours, so you can't imagine how it is, because the film is too slow, and so you don't have any perception of the time. It's over and over. The scene of the shower is so so strange, but it's something like you are out of mind. It's the opposite, but in fact, I think it's like a syncope, and it is also important music, something like you are even present but absent, something very special. So I think you have also the same.
Yeah, in music there is a very scientific fact. You can create a night moment in music with frequencies between 4 Hertz and 7 Hertz. It's theta onde wave. It's theta waves, and a lot of drone music artists work on these frequencies. It's very factual, but there is a new wave of artists who are working on that, and it's a very modern way, because people need to calm down, and during the night you can create and you can work on this creation. You can write your dream, and when your mind knows that you are writing your dreams, you can remember more easily your dreams. Mind is wonderful, and the time, the night is an opportunity to change your mind too, and do some experimentation, like in music with sound.
Time is expanded and stretched. Also, I just realized that we should keep going with the program, as the radio waves are also busy later on, and we have a big program coming on. Also, it's getting a little bit cold, so it'd be nice to move around and experience those performances that are coming. So thank you both very much for this little introduction and conversation to start this project, and I look forward to speaking with you both more as well in the future. So maybe we can do a small little round of applause to thank you.
Thank you, Anabelle.
And
thank you very much.
Vous écoutez Subtext Radio. Vous écoutez Subtext Radio.